Go look in your kitchen trash can. Go on, I'll wait. Half a bag of spinach that turned into green soup in the bottom of the drawer. 3 tomatoes gone mealy. A block of cheese with a wrapper stuck to it and a spot you're not sure about. Bread with a green freckle on the heel. I kept track 1 month. Wrote down everything I threw out and what I paid for it. It came to just under $60. $60 in 1 month straight into the can. That's $700 a year I was carrying in the front door and taking out the back. And I'd been doing it for years without noticing, because you never throw it all out at once. You throw it out a handful at a time. And here's the part that made me mad. Almost none of it was my fault in the way I thought it was. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't forgetful. I was putting good food in the wrong spot, and the wrong spot was killing it on a schedule. So today I'm going through 10 foods that nearly everybody stores wrong, counting down to the one that costs you the most money, and that last one is the biggest. Every one of these you can fix tonight with things you already have in the house. No gadgets, nothing to buy. Number 10, bread. Everybody puts bread in the refrigerator. Everybody's mother put bread in the refrigerator, and the refrigerator is the single worst place in your kitchen for it. Cold doesn't stop bread from going stale. Cold speeds it up. That temperature, just above freezing, is the exact temperature bread turns hard and dry the fastest. A loaf in the fridge goes stale about 3 times quicker than the same loaf sitting on the counter. You're not preserving it. You're aging it on purpose. Now, the fridge does slow down mold. That's the reason people started doing it. But you're trading mold for cardboard, and you end up throwing the loaf out either way. Here's what I do. However much bread we'll eat in 3 days stays out on the counter in its own bag, closed up, out of the sun. Everything past that goes in the freezer, and the freezer's fine freezing actually is different. It stops the whole business cold instead of dragging it out slow. I slice the loaf first, before it ever goes in, so I can pull out 2 pieces without thawing the whole thing. Toast them straight from frozen. You cannot tell, counter or freezer, nothing in between. The middle is where bread goes to die. Number 9, mushrooms. Mushrooms come home in a plastic box with plastic stretched over the top, and if you leave them in it, in 4 days you've got a slimy gray mess and a smell. Mushrooms are mostly water, and they keep breathing after you buy them. Sealed in plastic, all that water comes right back out of them and sits there with nowhere to go. That's the slime. You sealed them in their own sweat. Take them out. Brown paper bag. Fold the top over. Back of the fridge. The paper lets the damp out and keeps them from drying to leather. Mine go 2 weeks that way easy, and I've had them go longer. And don't wash them until the minute you're cooking them. A mushroom is a sponge. Wash it Sunday and you've just watered your own dinner. By the way, methods like these, the ones that cost nothing and just nobody told you, I've got a whole book of them. Everything I use to run this house for less, written down in one place. It's on my website, the link's right below the video. Go grab it. I won't mention it again. Number 8, berries. Berries are the most expensive thing in the produce section by weight, and people bring them home, rinse the whole box under the tap, and put them back wet in that clamshell. 2 days later, fuzz. Mold's already on them when you buy them. It's on everything that grows. It's just sitting there waiting on water, and you gave it water and then shut it in a plastic box with no air. So, 2 rules. Don't wash them until you're going to eat them, and get them out of that box. If you want the good version, this is what I do the day I get home. Fill a bowl with 3 parts water to 1 part plain white vinegar. Dunk the berries, swish them around 30 seconds, drain, then rinse in cool water. That vinegar knocks down what's living on the skins. Then here's the part everybody skips, and it's the part that matters. Dry them. Really dry them. Spread them out on a towel on the counter and let them sit until they don't shine anymore. Wet berries mold no matter what you did to them. Then into a container lined with a paper towel or a clean dish towel, lid on loose or cracked. Strawberries I leave the green tops on until I eat them. Wet, sealed, crowded, that's 3 days. Washed right, dried right in a towel, that's a week and a half. Same berries, same money. Number 7, cheese. You bring home a nice block of cheddar, you use 1/3 of it, and you wrap the rest in plastic wrap and squeeze it tight. And 3 weeks later, it's sweating, it's got a slick feel to it, and it tastes like the refrigerator. Cheese is alive. It's supposed to be. Wrap it airtight in plastic, and it's got nowhere to put its moisture, so the moisture sits on the outside and goes off, and the plastic taste goes in. You suffocated it. Wrap it in parchment paper or wax paper or those cloth wraps if you've got them. Wrap it snug but not strangled. Then set that in a loose bag or a container in the drawer of your fridge, the drawer, because that's the least cold, most humid spot in there, and cheese likes that. I use a bit of parchment over and over until it falls apart. Costs nothing. Now, mold on cheese. On a hard cheese, cheddar, Parmesan, Swiss, the firm ones you cut an inch out around the spot and under it, and the rest is fine. That's how it's been handled forever. On a soft cheese, cream cheese, ricotta, cottage cheese, sliced anything, shredded anything, the whole container goes. Soft and wet means it's already through the whole thing whether you can see it or not. Hard cheese, cut it out. Soft cheese, throw it out. That one's worth knowing. Number 6, eggs. Look at your refrigerator door right now. There's a little molded plastic rack in it shaped like eggs, isn't there? The manufacturer put it there. And it's the worst place in the whole appliance to keep an egg. That door swings open and shut 15, 20 times a day. The stuff in it warms up and cools down, warms up and cools down. Eggs hate that more than they hate cold. Every swing takes a little life out of them. Keep them in the carton they came in, on a shelf, toward the back. The carton isn't packaging, it's protection. It keeps the shell from taking on the smell of everything else in there because shells are full of tiny holes, and an egg will drink up the smell of a cut onion sitting 2 shelves away. That's not a figure of speech. It'll actually taste like it. That plastic egg rack in your door, take it out. Put butter in it. Butter doesn't care. And if you've got a neighbor with hens, don't wash farm eggs until you use them. There's a natural coating on a fresh shell that seals it up, and the second you scrub that off, the egg starts going. Unwashed on the counter, a fresh egg keeps for weeks. That's how everybody did it before anybody had a refrigerator. Number 5, greens and fresh herbs. Herbs are the thing that makes me maddest because you pay $2.50 for a bunch of cilantro, use 6 sprigs, and the rest turns to black slime in a bag by Thursday. Every single time. Treat them like flowers, because that's what they are, cut stems. Basil, cilantro, parsley, mint, dill trim, a little off the bottom of the stems. Stand them up in a jar with an inch of water in it, like a bouquet. Cilantro, parsley, dill, mint, go in the fridge like that. Basil stays out on the counter, because basil in the cold turns black on you fast. Change the water when it looks cloudy. 3 weeks I've kept parsley that way. The tough ones, rosemary, thyme, sage, those you roll up in a slightly damp towel and put in a bag in the drawer. Same idea with your lettuce and spinach and kale. Wash it the day you get it, dry it well, and roll it loose in a clean dish towel inside a bag or a container. The towel takes up the extra water. Water sitting on a leaf is what turns it to soup that's all slime ever is. A leaf that's been wet too long with no air. Rolled in a towel, a head of lettuce goes a week and a half instead of 4 days. They sell a special greenkeeper container for this. It's a plastic box with holes in it. You've got a dish towel. Number 4, nuts, whole grain flour, and your good cooking oil. Nobody thinks about these because they don't rot, they don't get fuzzy, and there's no leak in the bottom of the bag. They just go bad quietly, and you eat them and think, that tasted a little off, and you keep going. Anything with real oil in it goes rancid. Walnuts, pecans, almonds, sunflower seeds, whole wheat flour, cornmeal, oats, flax, and every bottle of oil in your cabinet. What's happening is the oil is slowly going off from air, heat, and light. And it takes months in a cool, dark place, or weeks in a warm cabinet over your stove. Smell it. Rancid smells like old crayons, or like paint, or like the inside of a bag of stale chips. Once you know that smell, you'll catch it every time, and you'll be shocked how much of the stuff in your pantry already has it. Here's what I do. Nuts and seeds live in the freezer. All of them, always, in a bag with the air pressed out. They don't freeze hard. You can grab a handful whenever. White flour is fine in the pantry, but whole wheat flour and cornmeal go in the freezer too, because the good part of the grain is the part with the oil in it, and that's exactly the part that turns. And take your olive oil off the shelf next to the stove. Heat and light are what kill it, and you parked it in the hottest, brightest spot in the room. Cabinet, door closed, away from the stove. Buy the smaller bottle if you don't cook much. A big bottle at a good price is no bargain if the last third of it is spoiled. $3 of pecans and an $8 bottle of oil, gone, and you never even knew. Number 3, onions and potatoes. Almost every kitchen I've ever been in has a wire basket or a bin with onions and potatoes together in it. Looks lovely. It's the wrong thing. Onions give off a gas and a fair bit of moisture. Potatoes sitting next to that will sprout and go soft weeks before they ought to. Put them together and you've cut the life of both of them roughly in half. They're just bad company. Separate rooms, if you can manage it, or at least opposite ends of the counter. Potatoes want dark, cool, and dry, and they want a little air. Take them out of that plastic grocery bag the day you get home. A plastic bag full of potatoes is a swamp. I keep mine in a paper bag or an open basket with a towel over the top, down low in the coolest corner of the pantry. Light is what turns them green, and green means bitter, and bitter parts you cut off and throw out. And do not put a potato in the refrigerator. Cold turns the starch in a potato to sugar. It'll taste sweet and wrong, and it'll go dark and blotchy the second it hits a hot pan. Once a potato's been cold like that, you can't undo it. Onions want dark, cool, and dry too, but more air than potatoes do. Loose in a mesh bag or an open basket, never sealed up. A whole onion, right, keeps 2-3 months. Half an onion goes in the fridge in a container and use it up in a few days. Garlic, same as onions. Out, airy, dry. Not the fridge cold garlic sprouts. And once it sprouts, it turns bitter on you. Number 2, tomatoes and everything else you're chilling to death. Somebody decided at some point that the refrigerator is where produce goes. All of it. And there's a whole list of things that get ruined in there. A tomato in the cold goes mealy, that grainy, cottony texture that's cold damage, plain and simple. The cold breaks something inside it, and it never comes back. And it takes the smell and taste with it. You bought a good tomato and turned it into a bad one in about 4 hours. Tomatoes live on the counter, stem side down, out of direct sun, not touching each other. Only exception once one's dead ripe and you can't get to it, then the fridge buys you 2 days. But bring it back to room temperature before you eat it. Same story for a whole bunch of things that came from somewhere warm. Whole melons, cucumbers, basil, bananas, avocados until they're ripe. All of them go dull, or pit, or turn dark in the cold. A cucumber in the coldest part of your fridge gets those soft, wet spots. That's not old, that's frostbit. And do the other half of it too. Apples and carrots keep 4-5 times longer in the fridge than on the counter, and everybody leaves them out in a bowl on the table where they go soft in a week. Carrots I keep in a container of water in the fridge, change the water every few days, and they stay snapping crisp for a month. Warm things out, cold things in. That's the whole rule, and nobody's ever said it to you plainly. And number 1, meat. This is the biggest money in your cart, and it's the one everybody handles worst. You bring home a package of chicken or ground beef on a styrofoam tray with that thin plastic film stretched over it, and you put the whole thing in the freezer just like that. And in 2 months, you pull it out, and it's got white and gray dried out patches all over it, and it tastes like nothing, and you throw half of it away. That's freezer burn, and freezer burn is nothing but air. That plastic film is not sealed. It's got hundreds of little holes in it on purpose, so the meat can breathe on the shelf and look red for the customer. That package was built to sell the meat, not to keep it. It's a display case, and you're using it as a vault. So here's what you do, and it takes 4 minutes. The day you get home, before anything goes in the freezer, take it off that tray. Portion it out into the amounts you'll actually cook at one time, not 4 pounds in one lump, but the pound you'll use on a Tuesday. Wrap each portion tight in plastic wrap or freezer paper, pressing every bit of air out against the meat. Then that goes inside a freezer bag, and you push the air out of that too. 2 layers. Air can't get through 2 layers. If you've got no vacuum sealer, and I don't, fill your sink with cold water. Zip the bag most of the way closed and lower it in slowly. The water pushes the air right out the last inch, and then you seal it. Works just as well. Then write on it what it is and the date in marker. Every freezer in America has a mystery brick in the bottom of it, and that brick gets thrown out eventually. And it was probably $8 of pork. Ground beef flat in the bag, pressed thin like a book, freezes faster, stacks better, thaws in half the time. 4 minutes of work the day you shop. Meat that would have been ruined by February is still good in August. On what a family spends on meat in a year, that one habit is worth a couple $100 all by itself. Now, let me tell you why nobody ever taught you any of this. Go stand in the produce section and look at how things are packaged. Berries in a sealed clamshell that molds them. mushrooms under stretched plastic that slimes them, meat on an open tray that freezer burns in 6 weeks, potatoes in a plastic bag that sweats them. Every one of those packages is built for one job: to look good under the lights for the 3 days it sits in the store. Not one of them is built to keep that food alive in your house. And once it's in your cart, it stops being their problem. Then there's the dates. That little Best Buy stamp on the carton, on the bag, on the jar, that is a guess about when something stops being at its very best. It's not a safety date. It's not a law, not for most things. And a whole lot of perfectly good food gets carried to the curb every week because a number printed by the company that wants to sell you another one said so. I'm not telling you there's a fellow in an office plotting this. There isn't. It's simpler and worse than that. Nobody anywhere makes $1 when your spinach lasts 11 days instead of 4. There's no company that profits from a paper bag and a dish towel. There's nobody to run an advertisement for standing your parsley in a jar of water. So it just doesn't get said, and a generation stop knowing it, and the grocery store gets to sell the same bunch of cilantro twice. Your grandmother knew all of this. Not because she was clever, but because she couldn't afford to throw food away, and neither can you. So here's your one thing tonight. Go open the refrigerator and take the eggs out of the door. Put them on a shelf in their carton. Then look at what's in your produce drawer that came from somewhere warm: the tomatoes, the cucumber, the avocado, and set them out on the counter. 2 minutes, no money, and you've already started. Then tell me in the comments, what's the one thing that always goes bad on you before you get to it? For me, it was cilantro for about 15 years. Somebody out there knows a better way than mine, and I want to hear it. You all teach me more than I teach you, and I read every one. Next time, I'm going to show you how I keep carrots, cabbage, apples, and potatoes all the way through winter in a plastic tote in an unheated garage. A poor man's root cellar. No electricity, no basement, and it costs about $10 to set up. Until then, stop paying twice for the same groceries.